We're going to have a quick look at the Inissia Espresso machine, which basically makes espressos with these little capsules. Super simple. So this is the espresso version of something like a Keurig making coffee. Now, there are a few things I like about this. One is it's incredibly small. It's very, very slender. It takes up very little counter space, which I like. As for features, it doesn't have a ton. It just does a couple of things really well. There's a small water reservoir on the back here. Let me just show you something here. There's a little box here on the drip tray, so that after each time that you've made an espresso, it drops in there and you can actually store 6, 7 or 8 of them in there before having to empty that. So that's a nice little feature. Like I say, basically it does a couple of things. It makes a short espresso, or it makes a lungo, which is basically just a longer shot of espresso, not quite so intense, but more of it in terms of volume. So let's just give it a shot and I'll show you exactly how it works. It's a bit noisy, so you get the capsule, drop it in there, close it up, and now we're just going to press this button over here for the short shot of espresso. As you'll see, this happens incredibly quickly. So if you like espresso but you don't like a lot of the preparation work, packing the portafilter, all that kind of stuff, then here is a really fast, simple and easy way to make a shot of espresso. And that's it, that's done. So I don't actually drink a huge amount of espresso just like that. I usually make espresso because I want to make a latte. I'm a bit of a latte guy. I have at least one a day, pretty much every day. So if I'm going to do that, at first sight this falls short because being a very small machine, and it's the least expensive model, the Inissia, the least expensive model of the original line espresso machines, it doesn't come with a milk frother as part of the system. So we have to deal with that, and there are various ways you can do that. Like I've got a couple of semi-automatic espresso machines where, with the portafilter and there's the milk frother with the steam coming out. You can do it pretty simply with those machines, although a lot more time and effort has to go into your espresso or latte. You can buy standalone milk frothers, electric milk frothers. I got 1 or 2 of those and they work very well, but I'm going to show you a kind of hack I have on something much simpler and faster. But first, I'm going to use the bigger glass so this folds up so I can get under the spout there. I'm going to let that capsule drop down into the little capsule box at the bottom. I'm going to put a new one in, close it. This time I'm going to do the one other button. There are only 2 buttons on the whole machine. There's the espresso shot or the lungo, which is the longer shot. So I'm going to press that one now. And let that do its thing. Now, I also happen to have a little device that looks pretty much exactly like a French press. And just before starting the video, I filled that up like about 1/3, 1/4 with milk, put it in the microwave for 47 seconds. And now for frothing the milk, I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see the height is increased there, so now I'm done. In fact, when I do this at home, when I'm using this machine and this milk frother, this is like a $10, $15 milk frother, manual milk frother. The whole thing to make a latte takes me less than a minute. So now I'm going to take that out. Now I'm going to take the lid off, hopefully without making too much mess. And I'm going to pour in my frothed milk, and I don't have a lot of frothiness at the top because I don't really want that. You can see just a little bit there. If I wanted something more like a cappuccino, I'd just froth for 7 or 8 times and you get this whole thing fills up and you get a huge head of froth there. But that's not my favorite. This is pretty much looking like my favorite. So that's the Nespresso Inissia with a kind of $10 hack to turn it into a cappuccino or latte machine. And like I say, I like it for a whole bunch of reasons. One, because it's very small and doesn't take up lots of counter space. Secondly, because it's incredibly simple and fast to use. In fact, I've got upstairs, I've got another machine from another maker where I can use 2 different capsules, a milk capsule, which isn't really kind of real milk, I don't know what it is because it's been in the capsule for weeks, and a coffee in an espresso capsule, and I can make a cappuccino with that machine but that actually takes a fair bit longer than the less than 1 minute it takes to make that with this machine. Plus I'm using fresh milk rather than milk that's been stuck in that little kind of disc or carton or capsule or whatever. So that's it, super simple. When I'm ready, you know, I can empty this, I can flush and drain this for any drips it's caught. The other nice thing about this is for any kind of espresso machine, particularly if you're using milk, this is incredibly simple to clean. I just put this, you know, I just wash this with some soap and hot water afterwards. Actually, I froth the hot water and soap to get it really cleaned well. And I appreciate that, because if I'm using my, you know, my regular big fat espresso maker, you know, when you got milk in the system, it gets sticky, it clogs, and you're having to clean and use little pins to clean out the frothing wand and things like that. So actually this very modest, very small little machine is now my new best friend and my favorite for when it comes to making myself a latte or cappuccino at home. So I think I covered pretty much everything there. There's not much to say in terms of features. It's dead simple. So I hope you found that useful. Thank you very much. Bye.
I'm an icon, man. And my girl about a 10. I should fuck her in the Benz.